Aunt Patty's on the square. Park County's oldest antique mall with 22 years on the southeast corner of the square. We have 25 dealers who take great pride in stocking and maintaining their booths. In 7,500 square feet, you can find almost everything from the smallest penknife to great jewelry, vintage coins, sports cards, dishes like Grandma had, all the way to a large piece of furniture. We're open 7 days a week. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, noon to 5.
Open the meeting with the pledge. Please remove your hats. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to open the meeting real quick with the 2023 budget adoption. Any questions, comments?
I move.
Second. Steve? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Aye. So we close that part of it and let's move on.
Hey.
Roger, you're first up on the agenda.
First of all, I've got some pictures that was taken in August and today, and I'd like for all of you board members to look at them.
Thank you.
Addresses the issues of closing of the graves at Memory Garden. And they all date back to 2021 burials. And I don't know if any of you, since the previous 2 times I've been here to talk about it, that there's still not a stand of grass. And I tried to explain that we're still the only cemetery in western Indiana that removes the sods when they dig a grave instead of it being cut off and put back the same day. And I can give you names of people that probably take care of 30 cemeteries in 4 counties. And when they leave the gravesite, the sod is back on the grave the day they close and have a burial. And that's like I said, that's August pictures and September today pictures of 2 different grave sites, and then there's one spare picture of a grave site that's just south of Pizza King that has the name of a knight on it. So there's 3 separate grave sites. And the problem with what the issue is right now is when you dig a grave and you put the dirt back in after the cast goes down with the ball, you're putting dirt back that ends up at the top that probably came from 4 to 5 feet down. That's very acidic soil. And I don't know what the procedure was, but if it didn't have lime put on it to make it closer to alkaline, I don't care if you put a whole bag of seed on there, you're not going to have good germination. And I'm positive there's no fertilizer put on there, because out there today, that grass that did come is dying. And I think it's a totally wrong approach.
Well, Jeff, you got any answers for him?
Yeah, I talked to Mark extensively about this, and I talked to you a little bit about it the other day. And I'm sure you're aware of what our budgetary needs are and what they are. Mark hasn't put sod on there for, well, since I think it's been about 7 years. And I know that you've been complaining about this for long before 7 years, because they have the same list of graves we're taking care of back in 2011, I think. So I understand your frustration. as you and I talked too, according to Mark, it's too labor intensive to do the sod. Now, he's done this backwards and forwards, and I know you disagree with it, but, you know, he's the one that's been doing it for 20-some
Tell you,
years.
Jeff,
But let me finish, please. You've had your turn to talk, and now I will. You know, we can get a sod cutter. We can put sod down. But we're gonna be watering that sod just about every day, you know. And with one guy trying to keep all the mowing and everything else done, it's just hard. I know it's not satisfactory to you, Roger, I really do. And I've got people buried out there, a lot of us have people buried out there.
yeah, I mean,
We get it. I mean, it's not exactly what we would like. Is it perfect? No, it's not. What can we do better? Well, you'd mentioned the Koenig brothers, or those folks. It may be that something that people who are very concerned about that issue, maybe we'd allow them to hire those people to bring in sod and lay it down. I don't know, I'm just trying to shoot from the hip and come with some ideas. Because I know unless we go out and we spend more money. I don't know of a less labor intensive way to do it that Walmart does. And that's all I can tell you.
I have reached out once to Jeff Gooch, and he's got the ability to open and close graves. Maybe we have the funeral homes do the opening and closing, and they'll just include the cost of sod in their cost.
We can talk to him. So what's the procedure once the vault's in? Do they tamp those graves or they?
Yeah, and that was part of the issue too, is we were getting complaints about being left open or having the dirt mounted up for too long. But the reason for that is during the winter, you want to let them settle and everything like that. So, you know, then you come back in, you tamp them as you're putting the dirt back in. You tamp them once you get them settled a little bit. And then you come back in, put more dirt down, try to level them out, and seed it and straw it. And then, of course, you're going to have a little bit of settling on top of that, too. So that's currently what we're doing. As far as fertilizer, I don't know that he does put anything on
worked in the ag industry 30 years.
there. Yeah. I
And
don't
you bring
know.
dirt up from 5 foot under, it's like 5 pH. Seeds aren't gonna germinate.
So you think a little lime and a
They
little.
have to be lime, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I mean,
We're
lime
not
and-
separating our topsoil and subsoil at all.
We've got a little bit, and I get some from here and there that are yawn from jobs that we keep over at the pole yard, so, you know, maybe we could get some of that good topsoil, start putting on there too. But I understand what you're saying about pH.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
Do what?
Sometimes it just takes some time, too.
Well, I thought back in the day, we used to use them immediately after the dirt, but we took a hose and it settled the dirt with a hose. We don't do that anymore, because I remember asking,
With a hose.
well, yeah, they stick the hose down in the dirt after the hole's refilled, and they get that settled quicker, immediately.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how do the companies that do these put the sod back same day, what the heck their procedure is.
Yeah, I think, do they hand cut, do you know?
They hand cut the sod and
Yeah.
tamp. I mean, they have no access to hose and water.
Huh, so they're doing it
They
without.
tamp the soil down and have a little crown to it above soil level.
How do they water it?
They don't. They just use a steel tamper and tamp that sod back down. I can take it to the cemetery, a freaking 70-year-old and a 65-year-old man was doing that. I mean, the boy's my age. He's 70. His dad's dead, and he worked till the day he died.
What's the company called?
It was Charlie and Larry Keeney from Russellville. And they take care of cemeteries in 4 different
I
counties.
think one of them passed away, didn't
Charlie, the dad.
they? Is there just one now?
Well, he uses his brother now, so there's still two of them when they go to a cemetery, and like I said, they take care of probably 30 cemeteries in 4 counties. Unless it's 0 degrees, that sod goes back on the day of. When they leave, it's complete. They're not full-time employees of the cemeteries.
Do they charge a fee for that?
They're the same as what you are. $550 to open and close the grave.
Might be worth looking into.
Well, so we have a couple options. We can talk to Gooch, talk to Keening, man, and see what their techniques are.
And obviously Barnes can do it too, because he's got
And,
a cemetery.
Yeah, there's bards out on
He's
41
got
South.
the equipment.
But, yeah, let's find out what they're doing and see how we can implement some of their practices.
We will resolve this issue, Roger. I mean, I know you don't have any confidence in us, but we're gonna work on it. You have anything else? I mean,
I'm glad they take any of the town board members out there and walk through the cemetery. They'd like to take a little tour. I mean, by rights, you ought to be spraying for broadleaves. There's hardly any grass left out there in that cemetery. Between the buckhorn, the dandelions, and the crabgrass, and the clover, you got 4 weed species. That's the major part of what you're knocking down a little more. And that's not a near-term cause. That's freaking 20, 25 years worth of calls there.
yeah.
I'm not trying to say freaking Jeff or anybody else is the cause of that. There's issues with the way it's mowed with 0 turns. When that funeral home opened, I walked through mud on all the berms in the spring of the year because there's no grass. I mean, I know you're gonna say there's no budget for it, but
Well, I mean,
there's other cemeteries that have grass.
yeah, I understand. I mean, we're working
That's all
on
I'm
it, but
saying.
when do you wanna go, when do you wanna take me on a tour?
Hey, I'm retired. I can go anytime. You wanna go after the meeting, I can go.
Well, if you wanna hang around or if you wanna leave, I'll go out there with you. How's that?
That's great.
I don't know what we're gonna talk about other than the weather, but I mean,
That lost, not pouring down rain. I'll show you what I see.
all
We don't have to walk very far.
right.
I got 4 generations of relatives buried out there, and I can take you just to where those spots are.
Yeah, I got people out there too.
I know you do.
Are we?
Anything else, one, sir?
No, I don't have anything else. I'm just saying what I see.
Well, all righty. I don't think Peter O'Keefe's there, is he? You guys want to talk about this real quick, about the engine braking, even though he's not here?
Oh, well, yeah, apparently that's what is on his mind. We had a resident that concerned about the engine braking in town. Braking is when a semi basically uses the motor instead of the brakes. The downshift, and creates quite a bit of noise. You'll see the sounds or signs that go into different towns. No engine braking. I don't know if people notice those or not, but it's yeah,
I've seen it before.
yeah. So simple
See where the town.
simple ordinance. I don't worry those. No engine braking.
I think we could probably have Nick write something up for us. If you guys want to vote on it, it'll be a simple ordinance.
Yeah.
No jake braking.
No jailbreaking. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Just within town limits.
City limits.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it enforceable? I mean, are they gonna go through at night where,
Well,
If they happen to be there.
you can hear
In
from
the
quite a distance, but
vicinity.
you're gonna have to see the individual doing it.
Yeah.
It's But anyway,
You good?
yeah.
Okay. Brandy?
Okay, there's two sets of claims. One's for $782, $590, $652, and there's a payroll docket separate for $130, $926, $10 there that I would like approval on after you review them, please.
Okay. Hey Jeff, the LED lights. Were they down at the? Is that the for the park? Is that what those are for? The LED lights. It's like
Who are you looking at, Parker?
page 2 of the bills. It's annexer like 14,100. I assume that's park lights. And LED lights. It says.
Street lights probably, are there 25 of them?
It doesn't say quantity.
It's just from Annexer for $14,100.
Yeah, I'm sure those are probably our street lights.
Okay. Well, you mean over on Jefferson or?
No, just replacements.
Replacements.
That we put up every year. We use, usually get about, 25 of them every year, restock, and we use them in the, in the past, we've used them in the.
You're talking the actual arm that
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
on,
yeah,
not
yeah.
the pole. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sassafras was 13,193 to bore. I saw that was expensive. Oh, what else? I don't know if there's much else. I just want to ask about the street lights.
Let's see the community correction or community.
Yeah, I see the community
Crossings.
crossing grant payments. The other one's just payroll. I moved to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's the bank recs that are all tagged for your signature. The month of August, all balanced.
Yay.
Sorry.
Hey, I moved to approve the bank recs.
All in favor?
Aye.
Why don't you keep that?
Okay. I'll go ahead and move on if you don't mind while you're signing. I did reach out to all of you about this amendment to the salary ordinance for the accounts payable position to be reduced back to a starting wage. So I do have an amendment that I would like approved for that, please.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm the only, I just changed that position there.
Okay.
Are these all done? I was contacted by Tri-Kappa again for this year. They've continued and would like to continue to do their Santa 5K. The date will be Saturday, October 29th in the morning. So they'll need the same closing of the streets that they've done in the past. Looks like it's, their hope was Jefferson Street, which will be the end of October. The run will start at Jefferson, east on York, north to Virginia, west on Anderson, north on Herman Lane, a drink station positioned in the back of Herman Lane, turn around, back onto Anderson, south onto Northwood Drive to Valley, then to Fawn Dogwood, Walton Street, back out to Howard Avenue at back to the starting point of Jefferson Street is kind of their route. I think the main thing is the Jefferson Street is where they have their registration and they begin. So they would just like permission to do that again, as they've done in the past.
Is it October or November?
Well, she put the event was Saturday, October 29th in the morning. I mean, this is the email from her. I'll confirm that it is in October. Usually it's a little bit later. I
Yeah.
think it may have been December 5th or something,
Yeah.
the first week of December before.
I said, we're doing Halloween that day.
I said
No,
the-
they're doing it on the 31st.
No, it's Halloween weekend, not Santa yet.
Maybe they think they'll get an anticipation, it's cold in this one.
Okay,
I'll
so.
make a motion to approve whatever the actual date is.
Second.
I'll confirm.
All in favor?
Aye.
I put banks on there twice. It's been a few weeks ago, or maybe even a month or two ago, I just sent out the AIM insurance plan. I just need to document in minutes that we're not looking to make any changes or anything. We're going to continue with the same plan, 13, continued coverage. None of our coverage has changed. And I believe that our premium
What, 4%,
5
5?
was just a 5%.
Yeah, it was very low.
difference.
most things.
But as long as nobody wants to make any changes to the current insurance plan that we have with United Healthcare through AIM.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That is all I have. Thank
Okay.
you.
Alrighty. Gonna have a look at the Rockville bicycle pedestrian plan. Miriam, or wanna do, either one of you wanna speak, or both, or?
Well, if you guys remember, a while back, we came to you with the opportunity to write a grant to the Indiana Department of Health for $20,000, no match, to create a bike and pedestrian master plan. We wrote it, we got it, and so the next step was to find a consulting firm who will do the actual public meetings and things like that. So we sent out an RFQ, we got back 2 replies. We scored them using a template that Cindy Todd gave us to weight things, which we had sent on to you guys. And then we also followed up with 2 references for each of the consulting firms. And we found that Troyer Group and Land Stewart Design Group were the 2 groups that it came down to. Troyer Group actually scored a little bit higher on the template. But when we found that when we checked the references, they both had very good references. We think they are both very good options to use. Troyer Group is located in northern Indiana, and Land Stewart Design Group is local. And so after the reference checks and then having phone interviews with each of the groups, it was suggested by the advisory committee to go with Land Stewart Design Group because they are a local group and their references were just outstanding on the work that they've done in the area. So we'd like to recommend that you would approve Land Stewart Design Group as a consulting firm to move forward with, and they will start having public meetings and input and things like that. And you know, once you approve them, we would invite you guys to join us in this whole. I think we have through May of 2023 to come up with a plan, and then it will be brought back here to be approved by you. If you guys have any questions, I think you got to see all of the proposals that were submitted and the scoring templates.
I'll move if anybody has anything. Any comment? No comment?
Give me a second.
Well, yeah, I move for Land Stewart recommendation as per the committee.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Opposed?
abstaining.
Abstaining.
I'm abstaining.
Opposed? Are you guys opposed to it, or?
Say something, damn it.
Opposed, yes.
Thank you. Liddy?
I guess I'll abstain as well.
Abstain.
2-1, 2 abstain. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to
For
go
one,
back to
I
the
guess
drawing
one.
board and we'll figure something else out. But
1-1.
so we have 2 opposed, 1 abstained, and two in favor, so.
Well, that's happened in a while.
Did you have any questions, concerns?
I guess my concern would be that I've looked through the proposals extensively, and while I appreciate the committee's input and time in assessing it, the body of work and the experience from the Troyer group, while they're not local, is drastically different than the land steward group. I mean, they just have so much more experience, and so many more projects under the belt. I mean, the completed projects from Troyer Group compared to the land stewards it's night and day.
What drove us to the part about the local and the references is the references. Marion did one for each, and I did one for each. And I can tell you that the people that we talked with, because we kind of felt the same way, you know, looking through the proposals and stuff. The people who gave us the references, hers and mine for land steward group, they just were, they didn't just give you a number, they gave you comments and were very excited about it and talked about the relationship and stuff. Troyer group scored well. One of the references had 4s, but I mean, that could just be the reference person. But they didn't really have that same glowing review and things like that. But so that's why we came to that decision. But I certainly see when we looked at the proposals, Troyer group on our template did score higher on the template than the land steward.
Yeah, they're a lot larger,
I think I saw that they maybe had 4 or 5 offices.
They were going to do, because there's only $20,000, they're going to do a lot of stuff virtually versus actually being in person as well.
extra trip. He said extra trips would cost more. And that was one factor. Also, it'll be done, a lot of this will be done in the winter months. So, thought with Luke living right here in town, with the team, it would be a lot more conducive to have them around. And since he's familiar with the town also, where he used to work, I'm just kind of pointing out my decision and, our discussion. Where he used to work, he got experience and they did plans for other towns also. So while the proposal is thin, he does have experience working at another firm that was in Indy. So, and yeah, when I talked to Mayor Bennett, that really sold me.
Like Terre Haute, the river, what would they do?
Yeah, and then they're just wrapping up on Fairbanks Park. Yeah. And he said he just hired him to do another park in Terre Haute.
So were you guys unanimous in your decision? I mean, there were 3 of you, right?
No,
There were more.
There were people missing, too.
6, I believe. That we had people
Yeah.
sometimes there, sometimes not.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. What was the vote? The vote was.
Everyone agreed to
Right.
the recommendation. There were people who, voiced similar concerns of what you're saying, but then they felt, I was a non-voting as Purdue representative, in not voting, but, I think everyone said both are good options to use for this grant. There was no yes for this, no for that one. They were both, it just came down to, deciding factors, and locality and references seemed to be what tipped the scale for land stewards.
Well, I'm assuming we're deadlocked on where we're at. So I'd say we're gonna have to revisit this.
Well, looks
at
like
least
it.
to the next meeting and see if we can change somebody's mind somewhere.
Are there things that you need from the advisory committee before then?
I mean, the proposals to me, I thought they both were, like you said, I thought they were both good. I'm leaning towards local just because we always talk about
Yeah, I think so.
going local.
But
so.
that's not a local company, it's out of Indianapolis.
They're local now.
Well, they have an
Right.
employee here,
Right.
but they're not based here.
Another factor someone on the committee brought up was that their teams, Lance Stewart's team, had a civil engineer, where the other team didn't have a civil engineer.
One other
They
reference.
like that factor.
Yeah, one of the references said that Troyer Group had lost several of their civil engineers, that they still had one or two on staff, but several of them had left, and they didn't say why.
Well, a wise man told me once, when you serve in public office, always respect your committees and your board's opinions because they volunteer time to spend on those boards. And so I'm just taking what they recommended. I just feel we should respect the time spent by those individuals to figure out what the recommendation should be. And that's where I'm at. Anyway, we have more business.
Yeah, we are on a time schedule.
What's your,
We have till May to complete.
right? Once it's been
turn in
awarded.
the
Yeah.
final.
Okay.
So, we appreciate any, if you have any questions, just, you have my email, I think Randy copied me, or Mindy's email, and we're in close contact, so, just let us know, and we'll get the answer for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
your
time.
time.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh,
First thing I have is the Williams Key grant. We have a lot of people that will get ill or injured and unable to open the door in the middle of the night. This tool would enable first responders, police officers, firefighters, EMS to be able to gain entry into the residence and administer first aid. They're already willing to approve it and everything. All we need is your guys' blessing to go forward with the grant.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ian did an awesome job on that. Next thing I have is we're gonna need to hire a new officer for the police department.
Police commission meets Thursday, and I think we're gonna.
Okay.
Post it, or get it posted.
The Park Heritage Wolves are gonna have homecoming next Friday, and they've asked us to escort them through town. They're planning on if Jefferson Street's open, to just come from the park, go down Jefferson Street up Stark, back to the high school.
When's that gonna be?
5 o'clock on Friday.
The
30th?
Huh?
It's this Friday.
This Friday, I'm sorry, yeah.
So Jeff, do you know any more about that? I talked to,
It's not gonna be open by the.
they don't think the site will be done after,
You're wanting to open it this Friday?
If it's open, they're wanting to
Yeah,
take it.
it won't be open.
Okay.
It
I
won't
told
be
them it
open
might
until
not.
the,
29.
we'll have the ceremony on the 29th.
Okay, so we'll just go with Howard and we'll go from there.
Okay.
And the last thing I have is kind of old business, crossing guard. We're still doing the crossing guard. We get called away. Once again, we can't call for assistance sometimes we can. Just depends on why we're getting called away. Sometimes we're already on a call and can't make the afternoon one.
Well,
Is Kevin, is that why Kevin's here?
he's not biting.
not Biden?
I point to Roger.
I'm retired.
Perfect.
Conflict.
Perfect.
No, retired.
Well, I mean, just keep
Do what you
keep
can.
looking. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is your new chief, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good deal. All right, Jeff.
You
want the note back?
Yeah, give me the note back.
I'm behind you.
There you are. Yep.
I've got one more.
Can I have a new one? Because it looks
another
like
one?
it's different from mine.
You want one too?
Yep. All right, striping is completed. We should be getting invoices on Community Crossings 2022-1. The final invoice for that striping, you should get that before too long, Brandy. And let me know when we do and we get her all paid, and I'll start doing the closeout process with invoices and everything. The 2022, we're waiting on the award notification, which should be, I think it's toward the end of October when they're going to announce that. IMPA is in town doing more pole replacements. We'll have cost estimates for 3-phase extension Benjamins for water plant feed. I've also asked them for engineering and cost estimate on utility pole relocations for South Market Street. You know, I'm still waiting on charging station design. So I know they're moving on that. Mike Adams is the engineer. I've been in touch with him, and he'll get them to him as soon as he gets them done. Asking the electric department is needing approval for $3,780.05 for miscellaneous Bridge Festival supplies from Kirby Risk. If I could have your approval on that, I would appreciate it.
So moved.
So I just have a question. Does that have anything to do with the north side or the
No,
market?
it's
This-
for the tent.
This just for the tent?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yep, our normal tent type stuff, and I think you guys were, did you get any stuff for the west side?
You know,
too?
PCI.
think
I
you
know,
were
are these,
anticipating
but that's,
it,
why,
yeah.
are we?
Some of
are
it's
we
on the west
expense-
side.
I don't know.
Why are we, it's
Some
for
might be.
PCI,
I'm sorry?
but it's a PCI expense. I mean, they're incurring the expense,
I don't know,
basically.
we've generally incurred the expense in the past, I believe.
Hands across the water thing, I guess.
Is that accurate? We've normally done
So every year we buy $4,000 or $5,000 worth of supplies and.
We don't buy that every year.
it? No.
No.
Not every year, but we waste a lot of wire, because once you cut it, it's,
Yeah, we vice clamp about every pole in the main tent has vice clamps on it.
What?
You get 8 outlets, 2 double gang boxes on each pole. That gets vice clamped on some tri-clubs that runs through there. And every other pole gets a light. But we were using lights, but the tri-clubs just cut up pretty bad. And you know, that's gonna be waste every year.
Are we not supposed to be having a meeting with Lisa?
we already met for a Bridge Festival.
Well, we got a second motion, right? We got a motion and a second. I mean, it's not all for that, but some of it is. I kind of figured it would be.
And Brett said part of it's on the west side too, and I'll talk a little bit more about the west side.
You can't,
Stop the festival?
stop the festival at this point, thank
Are
you.
you sure?
Yeah.
You would make my life.
No, let him know, you gotta inspect over 500 shacks.
No, I was just thinking.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry about it.
I'll go ahead.
So there's a motion and a second on the
Motion and a
table.
second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye. Yeah, in the future, we need to have
I think there needs to be planning
talked
meetings
about that
with the board
A year ago.
prior to.
well, we
More than a
did,
year
we
ago,
did.
2
They
years
threw us
ago.
perhaps a curveball there, I think. But anyway, what do you got next, Jeff?
I don't want to keep incurring lots of expenses
Yep.
that we aren't recouping anything off of.
Yeah, we generally take a loss on the Bridge Fest.
Yeah, and I mean, PCI is not.
We take it. Usually,
I think that would be goodwill to split some costs.
with my electric department, we'll usually have just about all hands on deck for the day and a half, 2 days that it takes to get all the lights and receptacles and stuff up like that for the Bridge Festival. And then taking it down too is always an issue. But this time, we want to try to talk about what we want to do on the west side, because when we met with Nisa, she indicated that she was going to have vendors on the west side of the northbound lane on Market Street also that we're going to require electric. And scratching our heads, trying to figure out a good way to do that, just, on short notice. I think we kind of have a little bit of an idea of what we want to do, but I'm going to let the guys talk to you about that. And just kind of tell you what our thoughts are. That way you can give us some input on how you feel about it.
She shouldn't be bringing vendors in until she gets.
It's you guys. Speak up.
Speak up, Brett. Well, we don't know if, because when they do that project, is this gonna be something that is gonna be, you want in there always? I mean, we're gonna pull some bricks up, we're just gonna bore down and set a pole about midway, right into the curb in between the lanes, and then run some conduit down and put a few outlets in. And it was gonna be hooked onto the.
So that's a temporary way to do it this year, but you're asking in future year to the.
What's your plans? I mean, is that gonna be, because that will need to be done when that street's done.
Right, if we're gonna do this.
Aren't they putting underground structures in?
Well, I don't know what they're putting in the center of that. But that's a good point.
How far you guys wanna go? That's what I mean, we need to, because, next year that's gonna be tore probably awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not be able to
How much
set
is
up.
this gonna cost us for 1 year?
Well,
That's why.
So
What do
we
you
tore
think,
up
one
next
pole,
year, it's
two
not gonna,
poles?
it's gonna be a
We
year.
could reuse that. It's just temporary, set it in there. We're just gonna string over to the existing triplex on the west side of the square. We're gonna hook into that, go down conduits, and we'll put a few outlets in. If that's what you want us to do. We didn't know what you wanted us to do. I guess.
well,
Are these vendors gonna have a meter on them, or are they just gonna be free?
That triplex is metered. It's in two spots. The same spot, the same what feeds a tent.
Do
Is
they
all
get-
that
Do they
metered
get
up
their
there.
deposits back?
Every vendor will have an electric meter that they're charged for at the end of the month.
Yeah, on the food shacks, yes. But that triplex on that side is what feeds the tent. That is metered. So it is metered, but that's in the fee that they pay.
Is it only one?
There's one there, and there's one down on the far end. And actually, there's three in the middle on this side.
So they won't be incurring an individual meter charge then like the people on the
Right, but
square
they'll
do.
be paying PCI, they're, was it $40 they charge for electric? Because they do the tent, right? Church the tent, PCI.
We will charge the hookup fee and everybody that has a meter will have their own electric bill to be paid. I'm not sure what PCI charges them for electric, but
Right, that's 'cause
it's
they-
not something that we've asked that to be charged.
No, we just give them the kilowatt, charging the kilowatt hours, and this will be on that meter, but they charge the kilowatt hours.
So PCI will be paying that bill?
Yes. That'd be coming off of that, because all that triplex on both ends are metered.
Will they be paying for any other meters that's for Bridge Festival purposes?
Would probably went up here for the saw people,
Okay.
do the carving. I think there's 4 meters that we pull off of for 10. Then each individual person's got the ones for the shacks.
Right, okay.
So, we just didn't know how far you guys want to go.
well, you start off. What's the long-term plan? Are we going to want to do this?
Right, that's what I'm looking.
Right, and if that be the case, we need to have it incorporated into the design of that middle.
Because we only got one time to do that.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
destroyed,
It's
correct?
time to do it.
Correct.
And that's one of the things the input and structure point are coordinating on.
I know we're doing boxes on the courthouse side.
But I think we're also looking at boxes on the inside.
Well, probably smart to do. You never know what future people may want to do there.
Is that a change in design? Is that gonna
Well, the
cost-
design's not final, so.
And the other thing is too, I haven't got confirmation from Ken whether or not the electric utilities is reimbursable through that. And I'm doubting that they are, because I'm almost 100% positive they said they will not. So again, anything that we decide to do with the boxes and that kind of stuff,
Well,
I think will be coming out of the electric, but I don't see anything
Yeah.
around it, because eventually we're gonna be doing the south side and the west side of the square also. And this needs to be a template for how we address all.
Yeah, on the south side out here, we probably want to do the same thing. I mean, in that median now, we don't have anything over on the east, but yeah, and you know, what's a few meter boxes when,
Well, but does the plan sound reasonable to you? We'll install temporary.
well, short term, I mean, like I said, we
drop-downs.
can't just tell PCI at this time, well, no, we're not
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah,
it. They have commitments we need to follow through and get it done. But yes, definitely next year probably won't even be able to be used, but then in 2024, we're gonna, well, we need to have boxes over there, a few boxes, I would say, just to be prepared for future use. You might wanna get Shaq someday, let's put it right out there.
Just wanna make sure we don't forget nothing, because if there ain't no conduit in the ground, it's gonna be too late.
Yeah,
So,
It's a temporary deal this year,
right.
so.
all up to code, right? All code.
You got it, every bit of it.
I didn't expect anything less.
So we don't have a cost estimate on that, though.
No,
No.
we're waiting on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably gonna be $6-7 grand.
I think it'll be more than that.
I don't know.
It may or may not be. I mean, because what we're talking about is just, conduit, electrical, maybe some boxes. So, but we know for a fact that our,
It's gonna be transformers, because we can't run secondaries that far.
okay,
It's gonna be primary power. and something like that.
we're talking about expense too. I don't know that,
See, I haven't paid for this.
it was kind of late when I sent it out, but we have a quote on utility poles,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
and they've gone up 40%,
Yeah.
over 40%. And,
For one white pine treated pole, isn't that
Southern
amazing?
yellow.
Southern yellow pine, thank you. Yeah. Wow.
But we can reuse the poles and the transformer when they pull us all out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Well,
not-
the transformer will be up there temporary, it'd be like when they're done, if they design that up there for when it's done, there could be, I mean, when you check all the poles out, there's gonna have to be primary, right, because it's so far, can't run secondaries that far.
Okay.
So coming back to the polls, with this quote,
Yes.
it's salty, and, I'm really not sure how much to order, how much not to order.
Well, what do we order historically? I mean, what should we have on hand?
But they're going through them pretty quick, and they're setting a lot of 40-foot poles.
So,
Ideally, you need a load of 35, or a load of 40s and a load of 45s, which is a crazy amount of money.
Over $100,000.
how many poles on a load?
35 on the 40s and 29 on the 45s.
Okay, there's pieces right there.
So if you want to do the math,
Well, 35, that's, yeah, just around. Yeah, what do you got? What'd you say, Lynn?
Second.
Yeah, it's email.
Hey Brett, what's the percentage of poles been replaced in the last 2 or 3 years?
I think this is.
That's a load of,
third load we've had
40s.
Since I've been in like,
42.8.
of 40s.
I mean,
Yeah.
for a long time.
What's the other guy?
739 times, 29, 21.
21.
We're looking at 45,000.
We're looking at
Poles.
about 45,000. Yeah, but how long will those poles, how long will that stockpile last us? I mean, that's a lot of poles.
It's a lot of poles, but we're going through them.
Well, point is, you can't have an electric department without poles.
It's hard to.
So,
With your approval, I'd like to be able to order a load of 40s and a load of 45s.
So moved.
Okay.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
that make you smile? Come on.
Yeah.
Pop in the replace.
Okay. Oh, talked to the NDOT about parking on the north side of the square. And Tim Watson is a traffic engineer for them, and he actually had an interesting suggestion. The town of Boonville, Indiana, had a similar situation around their square. And they found a relatively simple plan. They painted a line along where they didn't want vehicles to stick out and be into the oncoming roadway, and say, you know what, you have to park between the lines, and if not, and you're seen sticking over the line, you get a ticket. I thought, well, that sure beats the heck out of trying to cut concrete and do all that kind of business, because I also talked to him about that. You need to make sure you have so much feet for a walkway, then you probably get into your upper curb there to make room that way. And it is also, I think, part of the historical district, which, as we all know, is really hard to do much with.
So, by the looks of it, just takes an ordinance.
Yeah, you pass ordinance, say no parking beyond the line.
Well, there's lines over there currently, right, as far as,
Just diagonal.
Yeah, but I'm talking on the back end.
I know where you're talking, but any vehicle that sticks out beyond the end of that line would probably, I mean, that line, I would assume, probably line up with the ends of those lines.
Yeah,
But I'm
maybe
sure-
a little bit beyond.
Maybe you need to actually paint it can we paint on highways?
Well, I can find out.
Well, I'd ask where you do, of course.
Oh, yeah, you don't do anything without talking to NDOT on any of that stuff.
So, did he give you a distance?
No, he didn't give us how far out. What I can do is, I thought I'd talk to Boonville and see if I can get a copy of the ordinance and get some of the specs on how they went about doing that, and what kind of signage they put up. Just a thought. I thought I'd throw it out to you.
Sounds
a
like
lot
a great
easier
idea.
than-
Yeah.
Economically fit for
Yeah.
a change.
All right, I'll pursue that. Water improvement program or project, we know that was denied. In talking with Cindy, we can try to get more documentation for that. I'll make sure that we dig up any pictures of that kind of stuff that we have. And also any future leaks, I'll add to that pile, just so maybe we can resubmit on it.
They love pictures. and
They love pictures. I had a pretty good list from all the leaks that we did, but sometimes a picture's worth more than 1,000 words, I guess. 41 North Sewer Expansion. We did have a pre-construction meeting on 9/14/22 at 10:30 Town Hall. I forwarded you a copy of the meeting minutes from Brian Hood. It was disappointing in the fact that we could not come up with a construction schedule. No notice to proceed until the contractor receives confirmation of materials delivery. According to the guy from ISI, I think is who they are down in New Orleans, they can't get anybody to commit on when their materials are going to be delivered. And of course, that's problematic for him, it's problematic for us, so we're starting to feel the pinch as well, even on these poles, the lead time on them 6 to 10 weeks. So it's something that's affecting everybody, and it's not going to get any better.
Yep.
South Market Street, Ken sent an update on that. We talked about this just a minute ago, both sides of the lanes on Market. Did find out the ownership of the grinder pumps, Jeff Slocum, I think is his name, Jeff or Tim. Anyway, from Structure Point, he and I had a conversation about this. He's been able to remove one of the grinder pumps in the design, so now we're just going to have one instead of two. It will be in our force main, and so ownership is going to be ours. We'll have to supply power to it. So that was his recommendation. I didn't see any way around that either. Mike Slocum, I guess is his name, sorry. Jefferson Street project, we've got good progress. Striping, sod, and signs are left to do.
Do you have any indication on when the signs might be?
Kevin has not got confirmation on that. He said, worst comes to worst, we'll have signs up for the opening, so we can go ahead and do our thing. And it may be that they get installed at a later date if they run into problems with
Right.
supply. I did go ahead and set the opening date for September 29th at 6 o'clock. We'll do that at the intersection of York and Jefferson Street. Public and media is invited. I'll get something out, a little press release to them so they can be here and take pictures and all that kind of good stuff. Structure Point will have some big scissors and some ribbon and stuff that they'll bring down also. So
Hard hats.
we're looking forward to that.
Yes, we did.
No, maybe you did, I didn't.
Hard hats?
We did.
Okay.
No.
Charging station information, I'm still waiting on IMPA on the design. I talked to Ryan Black, we're gonna get together and actually map out where we want to bore, how many feet, so he can give me a cost estimate on that. We have a general idea, but once we get the IMPA design, that way we can move forward with it and get a little bit more exact.
Is there any chance they'll be here before festival? I'm guessing not.
Yeah, I'd say if I don't have my design from IMPA by this week, it will be hard pressed to get them in. We can do all the pre-work once we have the design. Once we have the pre-work done, then we have to schedule a charge point for them to come in and do the actual install. So I'm saying probably not gonna make that deadline on the charging stations. UMAC,
This one hurts.
yeah, new sludge pump. The one we have currently is 20 years old or better.
No wonder Troy's like.
A new pump is $14,416. A rebuild is $9,250. I'd recommend in talking with Bruce that we go with the new pump, and that is from American Pump Repair and Service. Need an approval if possible.
Anybody wanna make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion painful.
Are we,
You want me to do the new one?
For this difference, I think we have
uh-huh.
to.
Are you making the motion for a new purchase? I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Doesn't make any sense to put $9,000 into a 30-year-old pump, so.
Yeah.
We also have an estimate on the repair of the flight pump for $4,485.40 from Xylem. Like approval to go ahead and effect that repair.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
You say the best for last, right?
Save the best for last. The blower replacement project, we finally got some numbers in from DL Anderson, and $30,810 is the cost for the blower. Is this a smaller one than what we had in the past? This is a 50 horse instead of a
Instead of
100. So it's half the size than the first one that we bought last year. And the other thing I wasn't sure of, is this installation and everything, or is this just for the blower? I wasn't sure.
I think it's just for a blower.
Okay, so there would be a installation as well, I think.
There's not a whole lot for the install because they did a lot of that when they were here to do the last one last year, so.
Okay,
How many blowers do we have?
3.
Three.
So we did one last year, right?
Right, and this is the second one.
The second one.
Right.
And
And our third blower is pretty much not operational right now. It's in pretty bad shape, so.
Right.
They have some cracks in them, and I think Bruce has to check the oil in them 2 times a day.
So we only need 2 at a time? How many do we need going at one time?
One at a time.
One at a time, okay.
But you'd like to be able to switch those out?
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to make a motion. I move actually, but it's just, I'm trying to get an idea. Okay, I know we did one last year, so we're doing this one. Why did we have 3? Did we always want a couple of backup or?
Always have to have backup.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's an item requirement for that.
Okay. Well, I guess the next question is, are we going to do something about the third one?
Yes.
Are you coming in next year for that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The
Okay.
plan was to do one a year.
Okay,
so.
yeah, okay, I recall that vaguely now, yeah.
Should be cheaper to operate.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
should definitely be cheaper to operate it. Right.
Save some money there.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you. Deckard light replacement at Beechwood Park, we do have the materials, it's just finding a second for our guys to get that done, and I apologize for the delay. Fast-paced urgent care project, construction excavation is in progress. I moved from a 2-inch meter to 1.5-inch meter for cost savings. And I did get a final MOU put together that I think is correct. If you'd like for me just to read it, that'd probably be better, wouldn't it?
Well, no, you need to go through the whole thing unless you want it to matter of public record. I don't know.
Well,
Has Nick given the go-ahead on it?
he had no problems with it. He suggested I might put language in there regarding, stand by.
And it matches the ordinance, right?
Yeah, didn't have issue with what you have on the MOU for fast pace. Could add language that states that both parties acknowledge and understand that modification of said installations after construction will be a fast paced expense. So we don't run into the deal down there with. So I can add that verbiage in there at the end. But,
I would make a motion to approve once the additional wordage is included.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Alright.
I'll make that and then I'll get it to you, Dave, for approval unless you just want me to sign it and send it on.
I'd rather wait.
Okay. One of the things that's come up, and this is a late kind of addition here to my agenda, and I apologize, but it's come up in a couple different areas with requests. We've had a couple local businesses want streetlights put up in their parking lots, or security lights or street lights.
Both.
Both. In their parking lots, and it's, I mean, it's one of those things, who actually pays for that?
Well, they would.
Because,
I had RMC, yeah, I mean, RMC does that, don't they? They put up lights, I think. You
They have a
pay
flat,
for it.
yeah, they have a flat monthly fee.
I'm sorry?
This is lighting the whole parking lot.
Yeah.
We're going to set 5 or 6 poles. And
Well, some of the lights they have will light up, just like out at Ace Harbor, don't they have a giant light that hits most of their
I
light?
don't even think one of them doesn't work no more.
But you need 5 or 6 poles, can't you just get a bigger light?
Well, you charge per pole, per light,
Well, yeah,
per month.
but my point is, 5 poles versus say 3 poles or 2 poles with 2 bigger lights supposed to. I don't. Anyway, but yeah, whoever wants is going to have to pay all the cost.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted us to be doing that for lighting parking lots.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we don't.
Up in the air about that. I mean,
Okay.
They're willing to pay for it.
I say we go to REMC, see what they charge, and come up with our own charges, and if they want 100 lights, put 100 lights in.
Well, do we have the time? Do we have the time to do it? That's
we
the
have our
question.
charges, I mean, because we have our labor charges,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah, exactly.
Pole charge, we know what
Right.
poles cost, that kind of stuff, so
Plus,
we can,
we don't want like the,
if it depletes our inventory, it's
And
the
so
lead
it-
time.
the new lights are $400 a piece.
You know?
I mean, it's, and lead time on them's a few months, and poles are 3 or 4 months.
Well, could they just order those materials just for those projects and not take out of our supplies? And then when they come in, and if you'll get it to it when you get to it.
I mean, we just what we wanted to know. We just wanted to.
I wouldn't take it,
Different poles.
those offline projects of our,
No,
It's a charge every month. We're in the business to sell services, so why not sell them?
that's one of the areas that we probably need some SOPs written on. We run into, questions like this, and also with the sewers and things like that aren't directly addressed in ordinance, but I think if we put together some SOPs, it might prove helpful in the future in trying to.
I would check with Nick and see the legality of it from our standpoint, but I don't see an issue with doing it. I mean, long
We
as,
kind of thought the same thing when someone asked us about subdivisions wanted to pay us to plow, and Nick said that was legally a liability, so this may be the same situation.
so I'd check with Nick and
Okay.
see where we're at.
Will do.
Bring it back to us.
Didn't you shoot us out something about that water tower? Remember that?
Yep, right here.
Oh, yeah. I figured I'd wait till budget stuff to talk
Okay,
about it.
okay.
Because it's a pretty good expense, and I'm trying to figure out, do we want to try to plug it in?
It would be nice.
In my
Well-
initial assessments of where we're at on the water funds, I can't say that we have the money for it.
Well, we're gonna have to find the money, otherwise we're gonna have to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to take care of. Now, basically what this is, it's sort of prepaying
Yes.
the tank,
Yes,
actual rehabilitation down the road.
yes.
It's better than having to come up with that kind of money and going out and borrowing. But, well, anyway, yeah, you've got the information here. I think everybody received that, but appreciate it. Definitely talk about it.
What I'll do is I'll throw it in as an option, and when we look at those numbers, see what we
Yeah.
can do with it. Right.
Did you check on mower prices, like you and I talked about?
Yeah, we actually purchased a new motor, or new push mower, self-propelled push mower from M&M in Clinton, down on Ninth Street. And it's got a bagging attachment. It's a 3-in-1 mower, so the mulch, it'll bag, it'll do whatever. It's got a Briggs Stratton motor on it. Alan was admiring it today, and thought it looked pretty good, so.
He'll be happy.
Good job. Thank you for doing that. So, is that it?
That's all I've got, folks.
Okay. Bruce, you got anything else to add? I hope
Nothing else to
not.
add to that, no.
Old business?
I got a couple things just want to ask about that. That light there in Howard Avenue that got hit by the Home Depot, I think it was. Yeah, any status update on that thing?
We have both poles in. We have a pole that is supposed to go up by Dr. Waltz's on 41.
Yeah, it's
We got that pole in and base, and we
Okay.
also have the one came in on Howard.
good.
So our boys will get those put up as soon as we can.
The other thing is the steps to the Asbury building. You know, we have
Yes.
blocks here. What's our,
Yes.
do we have city?
Yeah, we're gonna put something semi-permanent in there, depending on what happens with it.
Okay.
One other thing with that pole to the north side of that?
Yes.
Can that be pulled?
It can, and when I talked to Keith about that, they were afraid that if they pulled it at that time, they were worried about bringing up a whole chunk of asphalt, is what I told them. Said once they put the concrete in, their hope was that it would hold that down. We should be able to pull it up.
Okay.
If that's your wish, I think it would be a good idea to pull it. If it seems like we're having difficulty with it, I don't want to tear up that concrete either, but, it needs to go, just my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
So a telephone pole? What?
Yeah, it's an old utility pole, so there's no function.
I think it actually, yeah, probably said that, the bank side that was there, so. Any other old business? We got a couple things on new business. Jeff and I talked about this also. Going ahead and angle striping York Street on the south side of the street,
Yeah, we talked about
north of the parking lot, so.
So we're gonna do that from Market all the way to
I would go from
Jefferson.
Jefferson to Market. And you say we can do that?
We can do that. Doug's got adjustable
Okay.
frames, and he can just come along.
I bet his
He-
lights will be straighter than the ones on Howard.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Do these frames give us a little bit of, I don't know,
If we can set them as wide as we want, as long as we want.
okay.
It's basically just the angle itself.
Well, at the entrance of the parking lot, we need to have some kind of design and then, line it in the center where people won't.
Won't park.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can do a lot of that yellow.
I don't know what to do. I need to go look somewhere.
one other thing, Park and I, had a meeting last Wednesday with, town marshal, Bloomingdale, the county, and, the USDA over a regional sewer project. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that, the county commissioners are willing to pay for the PER, so there's no cost to any of the towns. And wanted to know if you guys were interested in being involved in it.
It's fine, I think I've been on 2 of these committees.
I mean, all this is just a design, so.
Just information, what kind of flowage there would be, you know, what part we would play in it, basically just be processing the sewage. You know, we have a 1.1 million gallon rated plant, we process around 800,000 gallons a day. And the whole benefit would be to spread our cost out, our average cost, our fixed cost, I should say, our fixed cost gets spread out over more customers. See what that looks like on paper, who knows what it
The
would be.
last time they did it, it was around $70 a customer.
Well, that's not our problem. Our problem is does it make sense from, should we participate or not, based on what we'd have to do to the plant and what we would get in return. So yeah, it's just informational. That's interesting. What did you say? Did you make a motion?
No.
Oh,
You want me to make a motion to adjourn?
no, to participate.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'll second. You second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll let Cindy know that we're in favor of that.
It's never going to.
Is there any public comment?
Literally, I've been on 2 calls and they've done it.
Do you have to be on the agenda to speak?
Public comment.
I just have a concern, and we're relatively new in town, but when we go out on College Street to Ohio, there's a business with cars, and sometimes they park almost right to the edge of Ohio. It's such a hazard when
Does make
you
it
pull
hard to
out
see.
there. It's on the west, you know, as you're turning west, and you cannot see. You have to almost creep out into the road, and by then, it's extremely dangerous.
It's difficult when you have a truck.
I've seen a couple of people on the skid.
Yeah, it's bad. I
If you
know.
wanna have a talk with him,
And especially if there's a semi barreling from
Thank
the
you.
light.
we'll move it up
you
the
know,
chain
it's-
if we have to. I mean,
I don't know what, you know, any, what
Maybe
the
they can
cure.
help when they get their cars, a smaller car now, you can see over or something.
It seems
we're-
like they always park a larger vehicle right there. I'm sure they don't even think about
Right.
the vision from that.
Well, we'll have our chief go talk to them, and if that doesn't help, they need to be aware of what the hazard they're creating. Yeah, I agree, I've been up that intersection, yeah, it's a little dangerous at times, depending on what's parked there.
And just one other frivolous thing, I miss the beautiful courthouse lights. Is that gonna maybe be lit from Cover Bridge or anything? It's just so beautiful.
Are you talking the ones from the top that was?
Yes, the beautiful.
No, those had to come down and there was some, I don't remember what the thought process was. They weren't allowed to go back up. They've been down several years.
No, they.
The colored lights.
The colored lights, that.
Up at the top?
The green and the purple and
During COVID.
that shoot up.
Yes, yes.
They kept them on for a long time. I would guess they'll come back up for the
They
holidays.
just
They're
think
not
it's
on?
so beautiful, the courthouse.
County.
You want,
They
if you
got a
were
bunch of
covering
flag
everybody to see the beauty of how that looked.
Yeah.
And they
I
turn them
hadn't
on?
noticed it, but it hadn't been on.
Wussies.
Yeah, they have a white light now, it's kind of, you know, one you've seen the other, that
Oh, I didn't know they were off. Yeah, I like those lights. Huh.
is it county?
It's,
Is it county?
not big
Yes.
deal. We'll get it.
You can go to a
Dan?
commissioners meeting.
The new burn ordinance that's in the paper, I traditionally burn my mail. Is that a no-no now?
Oh, what's your take on that, Bill?
The ordinance says that basically you're allowed to burn leaves and limbs less than 3 inches in diameter. I don't know that to me, if it's a couple of pieces of paper to start the fire, that's probably not gonna be something that's gonna be hurting people, but when you
Right.
start burning boxes, with
Styrofoam,
plastic and
plastic,
Yeah.
and that
garbage.
kind of stuff, then I think that's definitely, out of the realm of what.
You're not the first one to ask that. I'm glad you brought it up. So I've been asked that out on the street, Dan.
Well, they say that way your identity is stolen anymore,
Right.
so I've been burning my mail that
So I know where to go. Beat you to the match. I can get your identity then. Okay.
It's good to see you, Dan.
Yeah, good to see you out.
yeah, glad to be back.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a notion to adjourn.
So moved for the second time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.